Out here in San Francisco for the weekend, just vacationing. About to go eat some crab legs and then I'm about to go turn up. Up here at this trampoline park, brought my kids and my little cousin up here to play, burn off some energy.
Well, we're learning more this morning about a woman allegedly murdered by her Uber driver just yards from her home.
Metro Police now tell us that Uber driver allegedly confessed to that murder. Matthew Foltz is following this story this morning with more on a crime that police are calling not only disturbing but disgusting. Good morning, Matthew.
Hey, good morning to you both. This is just a heartbreaking story all the way around. Metro Police telling us that they have arrested 29-year-old Francisco Valadez in connection to Chanti Dixon's murder. Now, officers say that they found Dixon on Sunday naked in a wooded area along Wagner Lane near East Raymond and Shervin Drive. She was found with gunshot wounds and pronounced dead at the scene. According to court documents, Dixon had ordered an Uber after she got off work around 3:30 Sunday morning. Police say Valadez gave investigators conflicting statements before admitting to shooting Dixon in the head while he was trying to have sex with her in the back of his car.
On September 1st, 2024, 30-year-old Chanti Dixon left work in Indianapolis around 3:30 a.m. She used a rideshare app to order an Uber. Surveillance footage captured her entering the vehicle. She was not seen alive again. Her body was discovered shortly afterward in a wooded dead-end area. She had been shot in the head. Law enforcement identified the driver as Francisco Valadez, 29. According to police, Valadez was not authorized to be driving for Uber at the time. Uber later confirmed he had been banned from the platform. During questioning, Valadez gave multiple inconsistent statements. He eventually told investigators that he attempted to sexually assault Dixon inside the vehicle. When she resisted, he shot her. He then left her body in the wooded area and fled. Police recovered evidence from Valadez's vehicle, including traces of Dixon's blood and ballistic matches. GPS and phone data supported the timeline. He was arrested and charged with murder. This case led to questions about how Valadez was able to pick up a passenger after being removed from the Uber platform. It is unclear whether he used someone else's account, a modified app, or another method. Uber stated he was not operating as a registered driver during the incident. Legal proceedings are ongoing. Valadez is being held without bond. Prosecutors are considering additional charges. This case highlights a breakdown in rideshare security. It presents a timeline of a passenger using a common service and ending up dead within hours. It also presents questions about vetting procedures, enforcement of driver bans, and real-time accountability in the rideshare system. What allowed a banned individual to regain access to passengers? Was the background check system flawed or bypassed? And how can future incidents like this be prevented? This case will examine the timeline, facts, failures, and consequences. Welcome to True Crime Unmasked. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. The show where we uncovers the disturbing crimes tearing communities apart and the haunting truths hidden behind closed doors. These are real stories, real individuals, real consequences. Stay tuned for more captivating stories. Now let's begin. Chanti Dixon was 30 years old at the time of her death. She lived in Indianapolis, Indiana, and worked late shifts to support her 2 children. Dixon was a mother of a young son and daughter. She maintained a consistent work routine and was known to commute using rideshare services, especially for late hours when public transportation was unavailable or limited. Dixon was employed at a local Indianapolis restaurant, where she typically worked late-night hours. Co-workers and employers describe her as punctual and dependable. She often worked evening to early morning shifts, finishing work after midnight and typically heading home via Uber. Her schedule was stable, and she followed a consistent pattern of leaving work, ordering a rideshare, and arriving home without incident. People familiar with her routine describe her as disciplined and not inclined to deviate from her schedule. She did not report any recent changes to her work or home life, and there were no reports indicating that she felt unsafe or under any threat before the night of her death. Her last known activities followed her usual pattern. On the night in question, she completed her shift and, as always, planned to head home afterward. She did not report any unusual circumstances or call anyone expressing concern. She used her phone to order a rideshare at the end of her shift. That ride would be her last. On the night of her death, Chanti Dixon completed her shift at the restaurant at approximately 3:30 a.m. This time was verified through employee time logs and security camera footage from the business. After leaving the restaurant, she stood outside the building and used her mobile phone to order a rideshare. Records show that she ordered an Uber ride shortly after 3:30 a.m. Surveillance footage from the restaurant and nearby buildings captured her waiting for the vehicle. Within minutes, a car arrived and stopped in front of the restaurant. The driver was later identified as Francisco Valadez, 29, of Indianapolis. At the time, Valadez was not authorized to drive for Uber, as the company confirmed he had previously been banned from the platform. Despite that ban, he was operating a vehicle and allegedly posing as an Uber driver. Security camera footage confirmed that Dixon entered Valadez's car. The footage did not show any signs of struggle or resistance. It appeared to be a routine pickup. After Dixon entered the vehicle, no additional camera footage was available of the car's movements. There was no indication that she contacted anyone after entering the car. Her phone records show no calls or texts were sent after 3:35 a.m. Dixon never arrived home. Her children, who were being cared for by family, were unaware of her absence at the time. By mid-morning, relatives began to grow concerned after failing to reach her. She was known to always check in or be available after her shifts. By afternoon, family members contacted police and reported her missing. The investigation began by reviewing her last known location. Her phone data showed it had gone offline within an hour of the Uber pickup. Law enforcement began searching areas based on cell tower pings and later received tips from residents about an abandoned vehicle seen in a wooded area on the edge of Indianapolis. Later that day, officers discovered Dixon's body in a wooded dead end near a residential area. Her remains were found outside the vehicle, lying in a concealed location near brush and debris. A firearm was not recovered at the scene, but evidence of a single gunshot wound to the chest was confirmed by the medical examiner. There were no signs of further physical trauma, and the cause of death was ruled as a homicide by gunshot. On the morning of September 11, 2024, law enforcement authorities in Indianapolis received a call reporting the presence of what appeared to be a human body in a wooded dead-end area. The location was near the 2900 block of East Riverside Drive, a remote and poorly lit road on the outskirts of the city. The call came from a local sanitation worker conducting routine duties in the area. According to the initial dispatch log, the worker had noticed a disturbance in the brush and what looked like clothing partially exposed. Upon closer examination, the individual identified human remains and contacted 911. Law enforcement arrived on scene shortly after and immediately secured the area. The body was later confirmed to be that of 30-year-old Chanti Dixon, a mother of two who had been reported missing several hours earlier after she failed to return home from her job. She had last been seen entering a rideshare vehicle shortly after 3:30 a.m., a routine she followed regularly after her late-night shift. The Marion County Coroner's Office conducted a forensic examination of the body. The autopsy report indicated a single gunshot wound to the upper torso as the cause of death. There were no signs of decomposition, leading the coroner to estimate that the time of death occurred shortly after 4 a.m., placing it within 30 to 60 minutes of her last known sighting. The condition of the body was described as intact, clothed, and without any significant post-mortem disturbance. There were signs of a struggle, including bruising on the arms and neck, but no clear evidence of completed sexual assault at the time of examination. The body had not been concealed. It was left exposed and accessible from the road. At a press briefing later that day, Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, IMPD, officials confirmed the identity of the victim and stated that preliminary investigation suggested foul play. A spokesperson from IMPD issued the following statement: "We are treating this as a homicide investigation. The area where the victim was found was isolated, and there is no indication that this was a random act." They also confirmed that they were reviewing surveillance footage, cell phone records, and rideshare logs to determine the identity of the driver who picked Dixon up that morning. Within 48 hours of discovery, law enforcement identified Francisco Valadez, a 29-year-old male, as the primary suspect. His name surfaced after a review of cell phone tower data, Uber app logs, and surveillance footage that captured Dixon entering a dark-colored vehicle matching one registered to Valadez. He was located and taken into custody without incident at a residence on the east side of Indianapolis on September 13, 2024. Preliminary background checks revealed no prior felony convictions for Valadez. However, court records show he had several citations for traffic violations over the past 4 years, including driving with suspended license and failure to appear in court. He was also the subject of a prior complaint filed by a female Uber passenger in 2022, alleging inappropriate verbal behavior during a ride. Uber's internal investigation led to his deactivation from the platform in 2022. Uber confirmed through a public statement that Francisco Valadez had been permanently removed from the platform following the 2022 incident. According to the company, he was not authorized to pick up passengers as of the date of Dixon's murder. The individual in question was not an active driver on our platform, a company spokesperson stated. We are cooperating fully with law enforcement in their investigation and will provide all relevant digital records. However, investigators discovered that Valadez had circumvented the ban by using another person's account or by creating a new driver profile using falsified identification. The exact method remains under review. Uber has not disclosed how he was able to bypass their identity verification system. Arrest and interrogation timeline. Following his arrest, Valadez was transported to the Marion County Jail for formal booking. He was then interviewed by homicide detectives over a series of 2 sessions. In his first interview, Valadez denied any knowledge of Dixon. He stated he was not driving during the early hours of September 11th and had been home sleeping. However, investigators presented him with phone GPS data showing movement between 3:30 a.m. and 5 a.m., closely matching the time frame of Dixon's disappearance. In his second interview, presented with additional evidence including surveillance footage and forensic data from his vehicle, Valadez changed his account. He admitted to picking up Dixon under the pretense of being an Uber driver. He claimed that during the ride, he attempted to engage her in conversation and later made advances, which she firmly rejected. He then pulled over into the wooded area under the pretext of a mechanical issue. When Dixon attempted to exit the vehicle, a struggle ensued. At this point, Valadez admitted to retrieving a firearm from beneath the driver's seat. He confessed to shooting Dixon once in the chest during the altercation. He stated he panicked, removed her from the vehicle, left her body near the brush, and fled the scene. Forensic tests confirmed the presence of Dixon's blood inside the vehicle and on Valadez's clothing. A 9mm handgun found in his home matched the shell casing recovered at the crime scene. Following his confession and supporting forensic evidence, Valadez was formally charged with murder, attempted sexual assault, illegal possession of a firearm, tampering with evidence. He is currently being held without bond at the Marion County Jail. A preliminary court hearing was held on September 16, 2024, where the judge denied bail, citing risk of flight and severity of the crime. The prosecution has announced intent to pursue additional charges pending further investigation. Shortly after the public announcement that Francisco Valadez had been charged in connection with Dixon's murder, the family held a press conference at a local civic center. The event was organized in coordination with the Indianapolis Police Department and attended by local news outlets. Chanti's mother, Rise Dixon, served as the family's official spokesperson. She read from a prepared statement. In her words, "We are cooperating fully with law enforcement. We want justice for Chanti. She was our family member. She was a mother. She had responsibilities. She did not deserve this ending. We have no further comment on the investigation. We leave that to the police and prosecutors. All we ask is that people stay aware of their surroundings and stay safe." The family answered no additional questions from the media and deferred all legal inquiries to their appointed representative. At the same event, Chanti's older sister briefly stated, "We want to focus on her children. That is our priority now." The press conference lasted approximately 18 minutes. No emotional commentary was made. No visual materials were shared apart from a single photo of Dixon placed on the podium. In the weeks following the press conference, several Indianapolis neighborhood watch groups, School boards and city council members scheduled town hall meetings focused on safety protocols for rideshare usage. The first of these meetings took place on September 20th, 2024 at the Municipal Safety Auditorium on West Washington Street. Present were representatives from the Police Department's Public Safety Office, rideshare user advocacy groups, and district council members. The agenda included review of existing rideshare safety laws in Indiana, Uber and Lyft driver screening processes, recent reports of unauthorized drivers operating in the city. One officer presented statistics on rideshare-related crimes reported between 2021 and 2024, emphasizing that Dixon's case was not isolated but part of a broader trend. Community members asked questions about GPS tracking, the ability to verify driver identity, and whether local law enforcement had access to real-time rideshare data in emergencies. An official from the Office of Public Safety responded, "We are working on legislation to require immediate access to trip metadata when there is a credible threat to rider safety. That includes name matching, plate number verification, and app-based alerts." Another outcome of the safety discussions was the drafting of a proposed city ordinance to mandate third-party rideshare reporting channels at major employment hubs. The ordinance, if passed, would require places like hospitals, restaurants, and factories to set up terminals or kiosks, allowing workers to verify rideshare driver credentials in real time before entering a vehicle. As of this writing, the proposed ordinance is under committee review. A GoFundMe campaign titled Support for Chanti Dixon's Children was launched on September 18, 2024. The fundraiser was organized by a family representative under the verified account Dixon Family Support. The stated goal was to raise $50,000 to assist with housing expenses for the children's legal guardian, school tuition and supplies for the 2024 to 2025 school year, child care services during the ongoing legal proceedings, emergency trust fund for health and transportation needs. The campaign description did not include personal anecdotes or emotional appeals. It stated, all funds will be deposited into a legally managed custodial account with 100% transparency provided to donors via monthly balance updates. By October 1st, 2024, the fundraiser had reached $42,000 with over 850 individual donations. All donations were logged and cross-verified via Stripe and PayPal donation receipts. Screenshots of weekly withdrawals and expenditures were shared on the campaign page. No fundraiser-related complaints or irregularities were reported. In addition to online efforts, a physical fundraising event was held at the Highland Community Center on October 7, 2024. It featured a raffle, silent auction, and food vendors. Entry was free, but donations were encouraged. All proceeds were recorded and added to the primary GoFundMe fund. The event generated an additional $6,000. 2 public vigils were held in honor of Chanti Dixon. The first vigil took place on September 15, 2024, at 7 p.m. at Martin Luther King Jr. Park in downtown Indianapolis. The event was coordinated by local nonprofit Women's Safety Indy. It was open to the public and attended by an estimated 300 people. Law enforcement was present but did not interfere. No speeches were delivered. Attendees held candles and walked a 1-mile perimeter around the park in silence. The second vigil occurred on October 5, 2024, in the dead-end wooded area where Dixon's body was found. Local authorities granted temporary access for the event. This vigil included a moment of silence at 3:30 a.m., marking the estimated time Dixon had entered the rideshare vehicle on the night of her disappearance. Attendees were instructed to leave nothing behind and exit the area by 4 a.m. The event drew approximately 80 people. Organizers did not allow live streaming or commercial media coverage at either vigil. Still photos were permitted under non-flash conditions. Following Dixon's death, the elementary school attended by one of her children, New Harmony Public Charter School, released a statement confirming the student would be given full academic accommodations and emotional support services. The statement added, "The child's educational needs will be handled with discretion. Staff members are under instruction to avoid speculative discussion." Support measures included waiver of all upcoming school fees, assignment of a case manager to coordinate child welfare check-ins, private transportation arrangements provided for the rest of the academic year, a local after-school program, Hope Kids Indy offered the family 1 year of free enrollment for both children. Legal documents verifying guardianship were submitted and approved. The family received assistance from Marion County Child Advocacy Center, which confirmed it would monitor the children's welfare and provide quarterly updates to legal authorities managing the estate. If this story touched you deeply and made you question what's real, be sure to tap the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. For more gripping true crime stories that unravel the hidden truths behind heartbreaking cases, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest episodes, investigations, and powerful conversations. Thank you for joining us on this journey to uncover the truth and fight for justice. Together, we can shine a light where it's needed most. Stay safe, stay alert, and we'll see you in the next story.